Hello, one and all, this is RedAlphaTails here, and even though it may seem like it, after just about a year, I'm not dead. I swear I'm not. I mean, I am talking right now, so technically, I'm either a ghost, or I'm not dead, but probably just a ghost. Regardless though, yeah, this channel is a bit back, isn't it? And Hearts of Iron 4 was the last series I did before channel stopped making videos, and I figured as the first series to bring it back, we're going to go back to Hearts of Iron 4. And of course, since you've I would probably try to make a nice surprise really to introduce what country we're going to do, but if you already read the title or probably even seen the thumbnail, you've probably already seen what it is. So I don't need to even explain myself. But anyway, we're going to play as China, and I'll show you how to be doing well in China. I'm just going to go for the achievement. I'm playing it on IMA mode, and we're going to try and repel the Japanese and take our land back and see what else we're going to do. Maybe just go after a few large pieces of land to take for ourselves and give us a bit more resources to work with. But we'll see as we go along the way. And we'll just go ahead and put ourselves a good name for this. Let's see. I think that's a good one. I don't think anyone from China will really even watch this anyway. But yes, anyway, as you can probably see, if I do editing, there's going to be a bit of a change to my videos, and you'll end up seeing that I'm going to do a bit different videos, just try to make it a bit expedited. Might take out some parts and that I do and don't like between different parts of the video, so we'll see how that goes. Introducing a little bit more editing to my style of video, and we'll see how it all works out. And of course, if you don't like it or do like it, do leave a comment about it. This gives me some good opinion or good input about it. Regardless though, we are China, we are Kai-Shek, and we are generally slow, and we're not very democratic, but we are the Kuomintang who's non-aligned. And China at the beginning of the game is very much a weak country. We have some land doctrine research time, which is pretty okay. We have the Nine Powers Treaty, which pretty much keeps us from not changing anything or trade law from free trade to literally anything else. Which actually, free trade isn't that bad if you're the United States and you have a gajillion resources to work from. But as China, you have 35 iron and the quadruplicate store your resources, and yeah, it's not really that great, is it? But we do, at the plus side, have more factory, dockyard, construction, and research time bonuses. We are civilian economy, which is pretty bad at the start of the game. We do have the worst effects from any country, basically, in all of Hearts of Iron 4. Which is the army corruption, which, as you can see here, it's negative 50% attack, defense, and mobilization speed. Mobilization speed is not as important because we have all the manpower in the world as China. Literally, you can't go wrong. It's kind of difficult to kill all your manpower unless you're just immediately taking total mobilization on volunteer only. So that's going to be the one thing that's going to hold us back during the initial war, Japan. But we do also have ineffective bureaucracy, but it doesn't really matter because we already start with almost 3 million manpower. We have incompetent officers, which just give us negative 70% daily command power, which actually isn't that bad, surprising to say. I mean, yeah, it does. Command power is useful, but it's not as useful as you would think fighting against AI. But we will try to alleviate that nonetheless, because we do want some bonuses from a few generals that we have. But starting off the game, we do have 2 research slots, that's pretty cool. We do have 18 civilian factories, which 11 of it's going to consumer goods. Wowee, amazing. And we also have 10 military factories. And I know, see, we are prioritizing our air industry against Japan, since we do have a spectacular amount of airplanes, like 115 to the 1,000, which they're going to be start building a lot more, which they already have double our industry already. So we're going to be prioritizing a few more things, like getting some steel, and we'll show you didn't get some nice French steel as we're going. And for now, we'll just build some military factories here in Yunnan, since it gives us our extra 50% construction speed since we are in a frontier. For our first research, we're going to get a better gun, because we don't. Type 88 comparatively to the Type 24 gives us a little bit more defense and twice the soft attack that we have, as well as double the hard attack, a bit more breakthrough, and a lot more piercing, which can be useful. So unfortunately we are stuck with Type 88s, which is like World War I rifles, which is terrible. And we're also going to focus on getting a land doctrine. And even though we all have mass assault, which is pretty good for an all infantry army, or later the game if you're being Barbarossa, there's a deep battle there. I'm actually going to do ground battle plan. And mainly because of the initial wall is going to give us max entrenchment and entrenchment speed. So when we start sending soldiers here to this front against Japan, we'll be able to have a bit more defense against them. And since ground battle plan is really just a jack of all trades, it'll at least give us more leeway to do whatever we want to do when we start developing our army later on in the game. And probably go down infiltration, simply because if we do expand to the north past Japan, we're going to need that supply consumption, and plus land attack is pretty useful as well. As for a national focus, there's not bad options you can take. Probably the best to go on is to improve your stability and then go for research and then economy later on. But for now, we're going to go for the Military Affairs Commission, get us some army experience, so when the war kicks off, it'll be all good there. Anyway, we start with 57 divisions. We do have 28 of these that are Wong-Tang, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but these are the terrible divisions, which are only 8 combat width, which will not last very long. Our other infantry unit is 12 combat width, and it's not prioritized low as reserves. So we just change all of our reserves over to regular infantry. We do have 5 cavalry. I'm going to say 10 for a second, but 10's are what we're going to go for. But we need to start actually getting a few good troops here. So even out to 24, we're going to send a few units here. And then start assigning all this lovely infantry to an army group. So we're going to include this guy here so we can actually have a good field marshal. We could use this guy here, which he has more defense plus a defensive doctrine, but he is harsh, which does remove our division recovery rate. When fighting against Japanese, you're going to have to take what you can get, and he's not going to be useful for now, especially since he's also cautious. The first army in the north is going to be taken for you. We'll put you in charge of a different army and put you like this. And so our army is mainly going to be, our second army is going to be defending here across our coastline. And the only thing I want you to defend is port and forts. As for our first army, you're going to be the taking the biggest hit. So I want all this 24 stack here waiting for the Japanese. And I'm going to put these 4 over here to guard the mountains. And you'll see what I'm going to use for them later on. Our cavalry is going to sit in the capital. And that's pretty much it for our start. We'll be trying to go for the actually we'll go for a few achievements. We can go for Sungzi Reborn, have a level 9 Field Marshal, and Awaken Angry. We'll see how we can get those. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get these 2 puppets because of that focus. Actually, we'll go for that one. Yunnan and Yangtze Creek. Yeah, we can actually go for that achievement as well. Anyways, I suppose we'll start running the game and see how our country looks from there. As you can see, we are kind of behind in 10,000 guns. And we're going to be even more. To start including a few more infantry. So we're going to reinforce this guy here. Also include probably 5 cavalry. Include it in this guy's army. No. There we go. So yeah, now officially we are 16,000 guns behind on that production. And of course we have lots of problems, especially in stability, and that's going to be the one thing we're going to have to be improving the most when we are trying to prepare against Japanese. So once the Japanese do attack, it's going to be around a little over a year from now. And once they do, we're going to try to guard this one river at the north as best we can. And hopefully it won't fall to Japanese quickly. These 3 provinces here are going to be the hardest to defend. And hopefully once the Japanese do take it, they'll be able to hold the river and that'll be a big penalty against them. But if they do end up slowly breaking through, we do also have another plan. I think for now, as much as I want to improve stability, we're going to go down and get this research slot. And we do also have a new focus, or new effect, which gives us army experience, which is fairly okay. Also gives us command power increase, which is not bad. And we do have 15, which I do believe can now get us a defense doctrine type of guy. Regardless though, the plan for China is that because normal China will go down this route here, nationalism, foreign threats, united front, we're not going to actually do that, because that basically puts us in a faction with all of our Chinese allies. And you think that'd be useful, but actually making yourself a very small target is much easier when fighting against Japan. Because Japan will also own all the coast, and if your AI buddies don't defend properly, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. They don't suffer from any penalties, I don't believe, when fighting against the Japanese, unlike us. So if we were to include them in a war, they would be able to stand up against the Japanese fairly well. Also going to improve our basic machine tools so we can get our efficiency cap up and making a new rifle. Get our extra research here. But as long as we make ourselves a smaller target, we should be fine. The only other person we're going to be with in the war is Shang-Zi, but we're not going to make a faction, so hopefully it'll keep him out of it. But I do have a plan to be able to repel the Japanese once they start invading through here. I almost forgot. It is key that we do limit how many troops we make. Of course, we do have a modified government, and we're going to go for the silent workhorse so we can start getting more political power, because that's going to be very useful later on. We're also making more factories. And we are, of course, making our navy, which our navy is not very good, is it? I can give it an admiral, but 5 light cruisers, 2 destroyers, 1 in production against Japanese. I don't know, 204 at max ships. We're kind of swamped there. So there we go, we got our research done. And next we're going to go and get 3 principles of the people. So we can now start working on a few more good things here. And we're going to get some more better research going. So we're going to definitely improve our stability since it's really hurting our factory output. It's actually well, yeah, it's negating actually free trade. Which I guess makes free trade okay in this circumstance, but it's not really ideal. Anyways, our gun production is doing fairly well. We are lacking resources for whole ship, but it doesn't matter. It won't matter till the like 1940s at earliest actually, because Japan's not going to blow our navy out of water unless we do have the Allies kind of helping us here. Which, let's face it, the Allies are not going to help for a long time. Basic machine tools are now done, and we're going to keep improving our machine tools, just so that we can make all the maximum rifles as we possibly can. So that we that's just literally the only thing we can make. As for the next thing we're going to do, we're going to improve nationalism. Get that on go. Improve more stability. Very important. And we're going to have about at the beginning of the game, we're going to have 4 laws and government changes you can get. I'd recommend you getting. Army defense is going to be a must, since it gives you plus 15% for defense. And believe me, you're going to definitely need that. We're going to improve more of research, so we can get things researched faster. Which actually stacks well with free trade, ironically. So it's not that much debuff. But the next one we're going to go for is infantry expert. That'd be 3 from that one. And then the 4th one probably will be regrouping. And then we'll switch over to war economy once the war kicks off. Fortunately, since AI historical focuses are on, we do know when the Japanese will attack us, so it won't be that much of a surprise. Which is the most important thing of all. We certainly don't want to be surprised in this kind of war. We could go for advanced machine tools, but we're going to improve a bit of construction, I believe. That would be the best, yeah. Got national going, we're going to prioritise the interior, and then probably go for Bureau Investigation 6, give us more base stability, and then armor reform, and that's when the war's going to kick off. Because it's going to be fairly quick. AI Japan certainly will try to kick your teeth in as quickly as possible. And unfortunately we cannot really prioritise making or training up our infantry, since a lot of the infantry is not very experienced, so we just switch them over from reserves. But that is okay. I did pick up the Prepared Defenders will give us extra more defense organization, but I don't think we'll be able to get it before the war starts. But that is okay. Because we will be getting our army experience from the Japanese sooner rather than later. Construction's 1's done. I think we go for construction 2, but it's probably more important to get a radio on the go. And then once the mechanical computing's done, we'll start working on getting some construction on the go. Of course, this balance of war is now kicked off, and since once this military factory is done, we're going to start building some civilian factories, because, well, we're going to have to get our civilian economy going once this war ends up wrapping up. And to do, we only have 19 civilian factories. We are suffering from -3 steel, so we're going to have to start thinking we're going to end up finding more resources from anyway. Let's get that stability on the go. Be at 65% once the war kicks off. That'd be good for us at least. Because now, since at 55, we don't suffer any negative penalties from production, which is very important to try to make a lot of Type 24s. And let me see, actually. Yeah, just as I thought. It's actually, we just need to put, don't need to put infantry there, unless you really want to. Anyways though, going to prioritize giving our new equipment to our new infantry. And I'm going to make 12 more infantry here to reinforce the border against Japan. Of course, this will end up having another 47 days without really much equipment. But we should be able to give equipment to all these men here. Of course, Japan's now making their own faction. Luckily, they will not join the allies because of that. And of course, we need to have some army reform once the war kicks off. Because now Japan really wants to go to war with me. So now since we got mechanical computing done, we'll start improving our construction too. As well as that, we're going to also get our support weapons going. Probably get our infantry expert now. Actually, yeah, looking good. So it looks like Japan's almost ready to declare the war, take the rest of China, but unfortunately we're going to give them quite a surprise. What to do, get our army reform going. Okay, and so here we go. Army reform is now done. Our next priority should be, I'd have to say, probably getting your economy on the go wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. There's nothing else really can do. Of course, getting political power is actually very useful. Yeah, I'll get some more political power. Make a new army group, include them here. And we will say no to the Marco Polo Bridge incident. Japanese soldiers recently launched an attack on the strategic Marco Polo Bridge just south of Beijing, where they repelled our brave soldiers. No doubt this orchestrated event aimed at placing blame on us and forcing us to surrender more territory, just like the Mandukan incident when the Japanese invaded Manchuria. How do we respond? Well, there we have reached the breaking point, which gives us more stability, more support. And put some more soldiers here. And we'll move down to speed 3 to see what Japan's going to do. And declare war with Shaanxi, of course. Trying to outflank us. Because you have the Great Purge happen. And there we go. The war's now kicked off. So what we're going to do is ask for military access from Shaanxi. And we're going to put a cheeky little holding force here. Which is probably better if we put it... No. Probably like that. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to be able to hold this spot here. But we'll place our 12 divisions here in defense of Shaanxi so that we don't have a large border between them and the Japanese. Because we could defend from these areas here, but it requires a lot more troops than we really have at the moment. Anyway, we do need to wait for more infantry to... Actually, wait. More infantry to spawn. And we also need to wait for Japan to call all of the allies. There we go. Should be at war with everyone here. Chuko should be at war with me. There we go. And now we will build our line and mix in lines here. And that'll give us some planning bonus once the once we do go on the offensive, but we will be on the defensive quite a bit. Because Soviet Union's going to give us some volunteers, but that's not really that important. We really actually want the planes, which they'll end up sending us. And there we go, Marco Polo Bridge incident. Japanese and Chinese forces have skirmished inconclusively over the strategic Marco Polo Bridge located just southwest of Beijing. China has rejected Japan's demands for apology and territorial concessions, claiming instead that this is a breaking point of Japanese aggression has been reached.
Diplomats fear that the volatile situation could result in a war at any time. That's right, non-nench. Which I mean, the war's already begun, so you're a bit behind on the newspaper paper. Anyway, our troops here go start defending the mountains. And it looks like we are defending fairly well. Of course, we are lacking in air superiority completely, because we don't really have the planes to hold up to Japanese, so it's really just more, or just better to save the planes, honestly. And of course, a navy of 7 ships is not going to hold against any Japanese navy, so we're not even going to bother trying to defend this coast with ships. And our brave men here are going to be trying to defend against any Japanese and naval invasions. And of course, this is why we do have cavalry to try and stop any Japanese attack here. So here come our cavalry here. We're going to be defending in the north. And we're going to try and get the surround on them and defend this one port here. Because in the early stage of the war, if the Japanese do get a port, like a single port, that's going to make it extremely difficult to really hold on to any type of defense. It's more better actually if we send some more cavalry to defend. Yeah, there we go. So there we go, we do have a surplus of guns. And luckily our entrenchments and planning will hopefully keep us from being swamped too much by the Japanese. We're probably going to lose Beijing and the city of Tianjin, but that's okay. Oh, it looks like also the Russians are going to go and maybe help us take care of the settlement. Of course, Japanese do have negative 85% attack. Actually, no, isn't that stacked? So that's 80, 110, 113 attack bonus, attack negative penalty. I do have to note though that the Japanese do suffer a lot of attack against us. A lot of more attack, so a bit even on the attacking. For defense, they only have 25, so that does mean that we do have a negative 25% when attacking the Japanese. And that's why I do say any type of attack is very... You kind of don't want it. Unless you're in this circumstance where you're just completely invading, attacking Japan from 1 to 5 sides. Which I think is pretty good. So if they take a single port within a coastline, that we're kind of screwed. We'll have to be rushing a lot more troops. But speaking of troops, we're going to make 12 more. And we'll be equipping them on this guy. As well as that, let's go and make 14 more horses. So you can have one full stack for itself. And we're lacking a lot of guns, but we're going to be putting a lot of these guns on straight to the front. We'll have the priorities high here. And we'll be giving a lot of our terrible guns to the new trainees. We're lacking a bit of steel. I'm kind of tempted to not really improve it for the moment. As you can see, Japanese not doing so well. In any sort of capacity in this war. But that could change easily. Because we have suffered 7k casualties and 19k, and they're just straight attacking us. But since we did prepare the defense here and here, we should be fine holding them off. As I say, any concern for attack will have to be on the coastline for the moment. Because they are breaking through the mountains, which, I mean, we probably need more soldiers here. All that means. Oh, and we got nice encirclement here. And the Japanese are all dead. Good waste of troops for them here. HoI suffered 100,000 casualties to our 18,000. It's pretty good. 1 out of 5. I'll give them a run for their money. We also got prepared defences going, which gives us extra defence and organisation. And we'll start working on Grand Assault, which we're not going to really do till I probably assume about a year till the Japanese really break. So move our horses back and see if we can get some more encirclements on any Japanese. And we are getting close to army experience. Having them just run into our lines is fairly useful, you could assume. I mean, looking at army experience, it's so good. Just keeps going. Just go. Just keep going up. Of course, the general's also, that's now an infantry leader. We also give him a camouflage expert. Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll help improve the odds with the Japanese air superiority here. I don't think anyone else is going to have any improvements to the skills. And of course, thankfully, having the Japanese continuously attack us means that they're no longer green by just, you know, sitting there in the trenches. So I think the next focus we're going to do is invite foreign investors. We're also going to go straight to war economy, and we could definitely start improving our economics here. We also have lots of political power, and we can either improve relations with the Germans or the Russians. I think just to get the wargaming divisions. Well, actually the Chinese general staff. We're going to go improve relationships with the Germans. And we don't need equipment here yet. We're going to get dispersed industry, because we'll be switching a lot of equipment during the war, or for the rest of the campaign, since our technology is pretty poor. And we'll be saving a lot of local power to change up a lot of things here. The Japanese will continuously attack us, which is what the AI just does. So we're almost there to improve our first army reform. And now, since we have 99 army experience, we can now improve our army, which actually removes 100 army experience. That's sort of weird. If you have 99.09, it just removes 100. But it does improve everything by 17% and then 10% mobilization speed. So that's pretty good. It does have a bit of a timer though, so you have 90 days to wait on that. Oh. Demonstrate my mind. Let's do try and move a guy here. Certainly don't want to break. If we did though, it wouldn't be that much of a worry. Probably get more surroundings here. Like if they're also trying to improve. Maybe you shouldn't be moving everyone there. It does look like we're going to lose Tangjin, unfortunately. Unless we reinforce, I don't think our soldier isn't really going to do much though, no. How about you just go to the city here? If you keep putting enough pressure here, yeah, move 2 more. Japanese will eventually stop the attack. Maybe we can actually do this entire war without giving it into the Japanese. I would be surprised. But so far the Japanese are just dying
mean, that's literally all I can say. They're just dying. And their manpower is not looking that great for them. And of course, the more they attack us, the more supplies end up losing. So really, it's a win-win for me. And government's modified. We're actually going to go to our Chief of Air Force and get the old guard so we can just keep improving our political power. It's fairly useful to get it up and going on the way through, because now we get 1.2 a day, which I think is really good. It's almost as much as Germany at the beginning of their game, I believe. Let's see, got some more troops here, and we're gonna be spreading them out a bit. Yeah, it looks like the Japanese really can't break us at all. That's actually really embarrassing. I had a practice run before this one, and I mean, they broke a little bit. They had a bit of a breakthrough. But it seems like even they are kind of doing poorly. Also, I am taking this research for a reason, as you'll see later on. I mean, if you played Hard Survive, if you played Wicked and Tiger before, you know why I'm doing that, especially if I'm improving relationships with Germany. But if not, you get to find out why later on. We're about 25 days off from getting all of our guns up and running. I do want to get more men on these mountains, so that when we do make the push, we can cut a lot of Japanese troops off in the mountains here and cut them off from the rest of their supply lines. But of course, we're not really ready yet. So I'll take our mission to Germany. We have improved lots of relationships with them. There should be 100, almost 100 here. Just 90. That's okay. As long as we keep on the ball with it, we should make good relationships with Germany. It's a bit iffy right here for now. So actually, I'm going to prove that one. This one. And see all the reinforcing army. Keep some extra men here, since it is just forest. It does look like Japanese still have not really broken any of our coastline, which is excellent. And they have suffered already 260,000 casualties, while we only lost 45,000 men. I mean, it doesn't actually get better than that, honestly. Especially with the penalties that we have. Oh, they are trying to break it again with 8 divisions. That's actually a bit iffy, but naval invasions are fairly difficult. So I don't think they're going to break us anytime soon. Yep, trying again. Now, I don't know why this one guy is going to keep moving back and forth here. It's kind of dumb AI. If you were doing multiplayer and you actually finally get to human person, you know, not human AI. If you finally get to the actual human player Japan, then I'd be a lot more careful with incorporating a lot more troops. Probably even defending from this river as well, to even give up this land here. But since the AI are a bit of dum-dums, you don't really have to worry too much about them. So now, since we have a bit more army experience, we're going to definitely get more army reform. And since the army corruption is now at 33%, I think it's a lot better than what Japan's got. Unless they, yeah, they haven't actually even escalated the war, which is really bad on them. Yeah, they have not even escalated the war, which is something you can do as the Japanese. And for those who don't know, escalating the war means that the essentially to make it historically accurate or whatnot, it said that the Japanese were not really prepared for the war. I think it said on their decisions list. And so they have the negative penalties with the Marco Polo Bridge incident. So yeah, right there. But Also, it means that if they escalate the war, they get the same benefits as we do when we have army reform. So I believe it actually does improve it by like 17% as well, something like that. But it also means that the United States will get more war support, because I guess that the US doesn't like the fact that Japan's trying to take over China, which is fairly understandable. But surprisingly for us, we are just destroying the Japanese here. And also get some closer ties with Germany. And then we can also repeal the 9 Powers Treaty. Which is not that bad of a thing to get, but still want to get rid of it. Our stability is up, which also improves our political power, so it's now 1.6 a day. It's great. As for our other person we're going to get, our next person, it's going to be Capital Industry. Definitely just improving our economy. That's the most important thing right now. We could just get more civilian factories on the go. Once we do annex the rest of China, it's going to be, we're going to have a lot of factories. But I do want to get up to a nice number of 100. To at least make all that we need to make for the next upcoming wars after this one. You have to think ahead of this. It looks like they're almost about to break Beijing, but I think we're going to reinforce with enough troops. I'm a bit worried. But they don't have enough organization to really keep up this fight. Yeah, I don't think they'll break us. Yeah, they're done. But they'll keep up again. It's a bit worrying, we're not really getting enough organization on troops. But let's get another 12 infantry on the go. And just throw them into this other army here. There we go. Because since we have upped our production to 68%, actually 70%, we are now making 105 guns a day, even with minus, how many steel we're missing here? 3 steel. Which is okay. I'm not too concerned at this point. Let's get a computation going. And from there, we'll improve our research. The research when you got here, once we get 74 factories, since we're trying to improve the economy, and then you got rural schooling. It's going to take quite a while to get, unfortunately. It looks like the Japanese have almost, oh never mind, they have not, they're not going to give up. Even if they lose 500,000 men to our 73,000. Jeez, Japan, have enough people, because we do, we have 2.4 million. On volunteer only and effective bureaucracy. We were just made of manpower, actually. Unfortunately, I don't really see the Japanese losing that much equipment. Some in the north, well, actually right here, is where the most are losing. But until we can have army reform, we're not going to be doing much to alleviate that. Luckily, we're going to have to only do this one more time before our army will finally be improved. I think they're still at it, trying to take this one area here, Shandong, which isn't a bad area. It's definitely one that Japanese can control, so it has 2 ports here they can take. But I can bottleneck the Swan Peninsula. Surprisingly enough, Shaanxi has this one province here. I'm really surprised like, what they even have that they're defending. Honestly, I just ignore this. I saw this in another game. It's a bit weird. Anyway, Britain improved their Birmingham Road. Thanks. I don't get it. They improved their infrastructure. Construction air bases along the Burmese Road. I don't really have much of a border with you. I guess they just improved 2 infrastructure here. Which I guess is okay. Thanks, Britain. Not purchase some tanks. Most useful thing to get. Here we have low inflation, but we'll go purchase tanks. It's great. Don't worry about it. Also, army reform. Ha! 90 days. And then our army will actually be competent, and we'll go on the offensive. Because we'll have all the troops that we need. Regardless, though, I thank you all for watching this first episode of the new series. So, thank you for watching. Do let me know if you like it or not. And, yeah, I'll see you in episode 2. Goodbye.